I'd hate to see what inspired the premise for today's title. I can only imagine some poor infantry soldier watching his buddy's head get exploded right in front of him and being unable to escape the epiphany that was how to step up his lasagna game. His dish was now whole, but his youthful optimism never would be again. To be fair, they probably should have armed him with guns instead of, spoons and frying pans. In today's humble opinion, we're cooking up some trouble in Battle Chef Brigade Deluxe Edition. It's not often that a game can take elements from various disparate genres and synthesize them into a thematically consistent whole, but Battle Chef Brigade Deluxe Edition is one of those rare exceptions. Start with a visual novel base, sprinkle in bits of side-scrolling beat-em-up, garnish with match 3 puzzle mechanics, and serve with a pinch of Tetris, and you've got yourself a palette-altering experience that you can't find anywhere else. I'd never even heard of this game before, and when I saw the title in box art, I was 39 flavors of confused. I was thoroughly prepared for a subpar game centered around Cooking Mama-style mechanics, or maybe a multitasking restaurant management game, so my expectations were practically non-existent, and they still managed to be shattered within the first few moments of gameplay. The premise of a world in which chefs effectively serve as some sort of strange world government is admittedly as ridiculous as it is baffling, but within a few minutes, the captivating gameplay will have that sweet suspension of disbelief kick in, and after one round, it's completely understandable that there's a legion of militant warrior chefs and that there's no doctors, only medicinal chefs. You'll accept that it's your character's goal to become one without question and do everything you can to fulfill that goal. The greatest feat I think this game has accomplished is capturing the essence of the process of cooking with mechanics that have nothing to do with it, and then presenting it in a high fantasy wrapper. To join the ranks of the illustrious Battle Chef Brigade, you must work your way through a gauntlet of Iron Chef-style competitions against other would-be brigadiers. They open with introduction ceremonies in which you may familiarize yourself with your judges and their preferences, as well as an ingredient that must be present in each dish. You're then sent off to complete the best dish you're capable of producing within a set amount of time. Your stroll through the pantry is probably the closest thing to its real-life counterpart, right down to the point where some idiot put the giant fire-breathing dragon all the way in the back behind other ingredients instead of by the front door for easy access where you last left it. Even though you aren't personally conscious of the recipes of this world, you'll feel like you have an expert understanding as you select ingredients that you feel will best help you in creating a dish worthy of your judges based on their flavors and intrinsic qualities. The next phase is the actual cooking phase, which is more centered on the match 3 puzzle mechanics. You pick your ingredients and toss them into the pot to cook, mixing them to attempt to upgrade your flavors. Where it gets extra interesting is the fact that it doesn't end there. If you brought the appropriate tools with you, this is also the phase in which you're cutting out bones and poisons, crystallizing your meal so that it brings the flavors out, or slow cooking your dish so that it tastes better. The fact that they've gone so far as to incorporate such a variety of cooking processes is frankly impressive. The developers didn't just stop at the core mechanics and allow that to carry the game. They made sure that there were plenty of little details to accurately capture the feeling of the process they're using as narrative devices for the game itself. They've even included sauces, things you can throw into your dish to alter the flavor of whatever flavor it lands on top of. Your character is a growing chef, and as you familiarize yourself with the game, you'll feel like a growing chef yourself. Afterwards, there comes the judgment phase, which isn't anything unexpected. You get more points for using their requested flavor and lose points if you left poison in your dish or forgot to include the theme ingredient. Oddly, you lose less points for the poison than you do for forgetting the theme ingredient. You'd think they'd be more like, well, you forgot the squiggle stomach, but at least I'm not dying of deadly neurotoxin, but I guess they're trying to make the game relatable for newer generations. No poison at all? Are you trying to make us live another day? Minus a million points. In between these cooking competitions are time periods in which you can complete optional challenges masked as work. One such challenge is a set of pre-made puzzles that are great for tickling your brain in ways that force you to contemplate the deeper mechanics at play. Another is a dinner rush scenario in which you're forced to try and create patterns within dishes as quickly as possible, which is excellent for developing your intuition and speed for the gameplay. They also have a hunting job to ensure that you don't forget that's also part of the game, guys, really. All in all, Battle Chef Brigade is an intriguing title that deserves at least a 9 out of 10. It loses a point for the less impressive visual aesthetic, and I don't mean the art style specifically because I think that's charming enough, but subtle details like the fact that all of your opponents just sort of slide into and out of view rather than having any sort of minor animation like your character. While the mechanics are definitely the most important part of the game, and this one utilizes them incredibly well, this kind of visual inconsistency can be off-putting. I also feel like the hunting portion could have been a bit more inspired and fleshed out, given that they make such a big deal about how the creatures of this world can change or create new ingredients based on different stimuli. That's used maybe 3 or 4 times. Still, there's more than enough interesting ideas to keep you playing for hours. Beyond the story mode, they also have a daily challenge and a multiplayer mode in which you can select different characters. Combined with the well thought out game mechanics and skillfully balanced difficulty curve, Battle Chef Brigade is a very strong title to have in your library. Thank you everyone for watching, and special thanks to Trinket Studios for having developed such an excellent title. Your efforts have truly paid off, and your passion for making a game that is both fun and innovative truly shows. It's a unique experience that I would say is definitely worth having, so long as you're comfortable with letting a few hours disappear before you know it. It's refreshing to see something utilizing so many different inspirations and still coming out with a distinct new style that can stand on its own 2 feet, distinguished from the rest without having to compare with other games like it. Until next time, remember that failure is not the worst case scenario, so go on with your bad selves and stay awesome.